And the Justice Department has secretly spirited at least one witness into the United States with documents.
Have they contacted you?
Yes.
Are you cooperating?
Yes.
So you travel to the United States?
I traveled to the United States, yeah. And, you know, it's an ongoing investigation and I'm a witness, so obviously there's not a lot I can say about it at the moment.
U.S. authorities are interested in those documents. A good part of that money was spent in the United States, and that's one reason the U.S. has jurisdiction.
We conducted a very comprehensive review and investigation of those accounts.
Former FBI Supervisor Dennis Lormel examined those accounts as part of a larger investigation in the wake of 9/11. FBI agents had then found an unusual pattern of activity.
There was so much interaction among the accounts, the manner in which they were taking cash out and then paying cash. It seemed questionable. It seemed like activities that I would see in money laundering or other types of investigations.
The pattern of activity you identified was kind of a mixture of the personal, if you will, and the professional?
Yeah, it appeared that there were both legitimate Saudi transactions, embassy-related transactions through those accounts, and it appeared that there was a degree of personal activity being carried on through those accounts.
According to these suspicious activity reports, there were transactions that appear to be personal. For example, payments to an architect in Saudi Arabia for work on a new palace for Prince Bandar, totaling $17 million.
That's something you don't see in the normal course of business. An individual moving $17 million from an account, like a business account, to what appears to be personal.
So the proceeds from the oil could be used under this contract to purchase arms from other countries, including the United States.
Following this interview, Frontline asked Louis Freeh for a specific example of an arms deal with the U.S. paid for from the $2 billion. He did not provide one.
Do you know of any other military aircraft that's painted in the colors of the Dallas Cowboys?
Don't know of any.
Sound like a private plane?
No, it doesn't sound like a private plane. If they all agree and are aware of what's being expended by whom, how they dispersed it, or how they distributed it, including dividing what was personal or not personal, is really none of the business of the United States.
What happens when the government says, oh, well, we knew about that payment. We approved it. Do you still have a case?
Under U.S. law, it's absolutely irrelevant whether a foreign government acknowledges awareness that one of its officials was being corrupted, or even endorses or approves of the corruption. So long as the bribe payment is for a corrupt purpose and goes to personally benefit the foreign official, we can and will bring a prosecution.
Request for an interview, finally sending us this statement, quote, BAE Systems' view is that the interests of the company are best served by allowing these investigations to run their course.
The British aren't cooperating. The U.S. has requests in with the Swiss, but that's taking a long time. This could go on for years and years and years.
I doubt it. I think it's going to be ultimately not a question of years, but there's going to be something decisive happening in the next year.
This is based on a hunch or?
A combination of informations.
BAE now employs 40,000 Americans and is a major defense contractor with the Pentagon.
I'm sure observers around the world are waiting to see whether the Department of Justice is also vulnerable to political pressure. We shall have to see.
Many believe that what happens next in the BAE case will determine the future of the decade-old anti-bribery convention.
We are successful in fighting petty corruption. We are successful in fighting probably medium corruption. And sometimes, by accident, we are successful in huge corruption, but it is by accident. There are one rule for the powerful and other rules for the people. And the rule of law is not complete. There are black zones, black holes.
look, this is black money. The thing about black money is you can claim it's being used for all kinds of things. These are the evils of black money. These are the evils of money laundering. You get pots of black money that nobody sees, nobody has to account for, you can do anything you like with. Mainly what happens with black money is people steal it because they can.
There's been secret payments by major multinational companies. Are we in a place where that habit is going to have to change?
Undoubtedly, the convention and the law which was passed will reduce the number of times that happens. But actually what it will also do is make people much more cunning about how they do it. Because depending on your religion and on your belief, there is a thing called temptation, which is promoted by the devil, who was a fallen angel. And it's very attractive. And people are seduced by it.
You know what? I would be offended if I thought we had a monopoly on corruption.
Prince Bandar would not give us an interview today, but he did in 2001, when Frontline asked him about corruption and the Saudi royal family.
But the way I answer the corruption charges is this. In the last 30 years, we have implemented a development program that was approximately close to $400 billion worth. You could not have done all of that for less than, let's say, 350 billion. Now, if you tell me that building this whole country and spending 350 billion out of 400 billion, that we had misused or got corrupted with 50 billion, I'll tell you yes, but I'll take that any time. But more important, who are you to tell me this? I mean, I see every time all the scandals here or in England or in Europe. What I'm trying to tell you is, so what? We did not invent corruption. This happened since Adam and Eve. I mean, Adam and Eve were in heaven, and they had hanky-panky and had to go down to earth. So, I mean, this is human nature.